What's up YouTube? Dale here from Zephyr Games, wishing you all a very happy new year. Today, as you can see via the video in front of you, I am going to bring you, because you guys smashed that like button more than 100 likes, the profiles or the lists for both Prank Kids and of course Phantom Knights that got me first and second respectively at my locals or at the last locals of the year. So the Prank Kids themselves will be the one we start off with, and it did get me this bad boy right here. So it's just a winner mat. It is just the structure deck one, but for Cyber Dark fans, it's a really cool mat to get. And I got some OTS packs as well. And then for the Phantom Knight matchup, I did get, or the Phantom Knight tournament, I did get OTS packs as well. And we might go through them at the end. Anyway, let's get straight started. So if you want to make sure you do not miss any more content coming in 2022, please smash that like button and hit that notification bell, as well as subscribe. I do also have some brand new Dragon Shield sleeve reviews, and I also have a very, very spicy, never seen before on YouTube, Citadel deck box review as well. And I'm going to compare that with my new one, which is Card Guardian, and my old one, which is Ultimate Guard Heat Changer. So make sure you stay tuned for those. Anyway, let's go through the rundown for Prank Kids. So Prank Kids got first, it went 3-1. My first round was against Sword Soul, my second round was against Flundereeze, my third round was against Sword Soul, and then my fourth round was against Trizoo, which was the one I lost. Like, literally, I can't beat his top decks. His top decks for game 1 was Duster plus Dark Ruler, and then game 2 was Dark Ruler plus Evenly plus Duster, and then obviously they need like one, oh, and Tenki. I was just like, yeah, cool, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to lay the cards out in front of you. I'm not going to go through the profile bit by bit as we usually do, but I'm going to lay them out in front of you. You can then pause the video, see all of the monsters, all of the hand traps, all of the spells in one go. So, going with, of course, a very, very standard lineup on the Prank Kids. Triple Roxys, triple Fancies, triple Dropsies, and I've gone with double Lampsies. People do go with either 2 Roxys or 2 Lampsies. It's entirely up to you. I don't know. I don't feel that I missed the third fire. One thing I did learn throughout this entire deck, or throughout playing this entire deck at that tournament specifically, is the deck can knock out an M-Pen without something like a Chalice or a Imperm or any way of negating its effects. It struggles to deal with a Dragoon, and it struggles to deal with the Sword Soul Sovereign. Luckily, I was able to deal with those because I did play other cards such as Talents, which put in so much work for me with this particular deck. Whether you were going to be doing the draw or the steal, it did a huge amount of work. So apart from that, the last 2 cards is, of course, the DPE engine. I'm sorry, guys, if you've got access to it and you want to be winning your locals or doing well and placing high at your locals, you need to be playing an engine like this. It's so good. Like, I faced, against in the PK matchup on the second tournament, I ended up facing a Prank Kids player. And I was like, throughout the entire day, I was like, DPE is busted. It's so, so good. And then in this matchup, I was against DPE, and I was like, it's so annoying. How do I get rid of the bloody thing so it doesn't keep coming back? So, puts in so much work for this particular deck. And the fact that you can build your board, get Nibiru, still end on Fusion Destiny, build your board, add a Fusion Destiny to it is bonkers. Like, so, so good. So this is the monster lineup with, of course, the hand trap lineup as well. I've gone with 2s, and it worked out incredibly well for me. You could main deck certain hand traps depending on what your local environment is like. So like main deck your Drolls or Lancers or anything like that. But personally, I really don't like it because at my locals, it's so varied that in one game, Droll might be the winner, but in another game, it might be the loser for game 1. And yes, it's a quick, easy side out, but if I brick on it, like, that's a game lost that I don't really want. For the spells, no surprise on this one, Triple Fusion Destiny alongside. I went with the main deck across out. I'm going to cut it. Like, I didn't like this card at all. Never saw it. The only time that I saw it, and I was like, oh, this is relevant, is I had it set, but I didn't use my bigger brain plays and keep in 1 evenly matched. Like, if I kept in 1 evenly matched, I could have flipped this, banished the evenly, and I would have been like, oh, but I didn't, so yeah. Triple place, I think yeah, sorry, like once or twice, so it is what it is, just there for consistency. Talents put in so much work. There were a couple of matchups where it was like 100% dead, and I was like, right, okay, I want to cut this. But then there was games where it won me the game. And the reason I put it in here was I was like, this deck can knock out a Dragoon, it can knock out a Sovereign, because your best card in the form of either DPE or Battle Butler, A, isn't strong enough to beat over a Dragoon. You can probably crash it, but that means you've got to be able to get it on the board without using its effect, or using any effect. And it can't out a Sovereign, because when a Sovereign gets put on board, not only can it not be destroyed by card effect, but on top of that as well, it's going to be, usually it's not going to be a 3k base, it's going to be stronger than a 3k base. So yeah, with that one particularly, wasn't so good. I did play double Chalice. This put in so much work for this deck, so you can't really play droplets because you need to keep your hand advantage, but Chalice put in so much work. Like, this turns off a Sovereign, and unlike droplets, where droplets halves the attack and then negates, meaning that if the Sovereign's on like 4k, you halve it to 2k and then negate its effect, so its attack becomes 2k, not becomes 2k and then loses its effect, so it loses the additional add-on. Whereas Chalice is just like out and out negate. So Chalice in this particular deck put in so much work. For the fusion spells, we've got double Pandemonium, double Poly, and a single Thunder Dragon fusion. I couldn't find my third Poly, which is why I went for the Thunder Dragon fusion. This came up once today, and it was annoyingly in the Tri-Brigade matchup, where I basically hard summoned the Battle Butler rather than relying on Pandemonium, because I wanted to get rid of the Bow Wow Bart to make Verte, and then that's the turn that he opened up Dark Ruler. So I was just like, is what it is. But because either way, he opened up Dark Ruler and Duster, so even if I had the Pandemonium play, he would have activated Duster, cleared off the Pandemonium, and then Dark Ruler the Butler. So it didn't make much of a difference. Instant Fusion, what it is. Prank's actually really good right now. Really, really good right now. And then one Terraforming, one Call By. So pretty straightforward and standard on that one. But Prank's is crazy good. Like, consistently recycling your graveyard. This deck burns for its resource incredibly fast. Like, incredibly fast. So, yeah. Moving on to the Etch deck. I finally felt like this is the first time I played Prank Kids post hit on Meow Meow. And I found out how difficult it was. Like, your recursion play is so dead. So dead. Like, so you need to hold on to a fusion spell plus 2 Prank Kids in order to get your plays going again. Or you need to hold on to the pranks. Whereas if your opponent Zeus's you, if they clear your board or anything like that, you've no longer got a 1-card combo that's going to start everything off again. So your combo in this particular deck is, your first turn combo is go for as much as you can. You deck fin as much as possible, because then your draws off of the pranks and Roxys become your hand traps and your interruptions, and then they've got to deal with like a double Raigeki. I did misplay on the Tri-Brigade matchup, is I actually had game. I was spent so long, I spent like a couple of minutes just trying to figure out if I had game or not, and I did, but I forgot that the Meow Meow was in the graveyard, because I was so, like, with the plays of the Meow Meow throughout the entire tournament, was like, right, okay, banish it when you use Battle Butler. I completely forgot that I could banish it when I used Rocket Ride. So I used Rocket Ride, cleared it off, brought 2 cards back, was able to leave my opponent on 1,000 life points, whereas if I had banished Meow instead of using the Rocket effect, I would have kept the Rocket and got the 2 monsters back. So, ouch. That was a misplay on my behalf, and that was just like rustiness on the deck in general. 2 doodle-doodle-doos, 2 Bow Wow Barks, 2 Battle Butlers. You don't need to play 2 Battle Butlers, easily cut this down to 1. 1 Rocket Ride, 1 Weather Washer, and then, of course, Verte, yeah. Unicorn, Axis Code, Appaloosa, Toad and Phoenix. So the Prank Kids player that I played with the Phantom Knights actually had the Scythe in the deck, and I was just like, yeah, this is horrible, like absolutely horrible. I personally didn't like it because I was like, I don't really like. I want to make sure I've got Battle Butler and then go for a DPE, whereas I don't want to build up my entire board and then just go, okay, Verte, or open up Fusion Destiny and then go Dagda to then set the Scythe Lock. I mean, it does work, like Scythe Lock wins the aims, so I'm not really surprised on that, but don't really want to do it. Okay, so for the side deck for this particular tournament, I went with triple Lancia, double Nibiru, just for the cross-out target as well, double Droll, triple Cosmic Cyclone to deal with pesky back row. Because I knew there was going to be Sword Soul, I went with double Barrier. Double there could only be 1, Sword Soul, like, auto win near enough. And then the card that always goes in my side deck is Evenly. I just like it. It's just such a good board breaker. As long as you can... So in both the Sword Soul matchups, every time their end board was Baron, sometimes Blackout, with a Chi Xiao and a Sovereign. So I was like, not Sovereign, sorry, Dragite. So I had to bait out 2. Luckily in those games, I ended up opening up Place Instant Fusion, Fusion Destiny, and Evenly. So I was like, right, I can bait stuff out with these. Like, they're not going to let Fusion Destiny go through, because then Fusion Destiny gets rid of one of the cards and constantly keeps floating. So luckily I was able to evenly and then continue to play as well. So that's the one good thing about this deck, is it just doesn't stop playing. Like, it keeps going and going and going and going and going and going and going. So that was the Prankies matchup. That did get me first place. It did all come down to tiebreakers, so I did get lucky on that. There's no doubt about it. I ended up, because people that I faced ended up finishing like from second to fifth. So second to fifth were all the players that I faced. So my head-to-head was like just incredibly good, and I was able to kind of pick it up from there. Okay, now I'm going to take you through the Prankies, the Phantom Knights. So now I'm doing this all in one video, but I kind of thought it'd be a lot better for people if I did do all of this in one video, just to kind of keep it as an end-of-year video as well, kind of keep it all contained. So if you're interested, I will put the timestamps in the link below. But if you're interested in, of course, Prankies, it will be the first one, and if you're interested in Phantom Knights, it will be the second one. So I've just got to move a couple of cards across, because they did share certain hand traps and certain cards, which is completely fine, and I've just got to make sure that I have counted correctly. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun. The whole idea behind this is I really wanted to play Phantom Knights for my end of tournament kind of deck, and I also wanted to play Prankids. So they were decks that I picked back up, and I really want to give these a run out. I want to see how they currently do, and then kind of go from there. So, okay, so starting on with the Phantom Knights, I will also move all this away and move the side deck across. I'll show you everything I've got. So, Monster Liner, again, shout out to like JY and everyone like this, because this card, oh my god, puts in so much work. Like, if this resolves, you're in dreamland. So like, you resolve this, not only does it give you Fusion Destiny, but it gives you full combo and sets up your graveyard. So incredibly good. I understand why people are playing this as a starter. It just puts in so much work. It's absolutely sickening. If it does get stopped, the idea is that you want to make sure you've got an extender. So you don't really ever want to normal summon this without anything else to follow up on, and kind of go from there. Your other starter, your other sender, is triple Torn Scales alongside triple Boots. Again, it is what it is. This is pretty standard. There's nothing too spicy about this. One Cloak, one Greaves, one Gloves, one Seer, one Graph. So they're pretty much your standard combo players. And then your extenders, you've got your Tracker, your Wielder, your Sukanoko, your Jackalope, your Kagamusha Knight, and then of course you've got your Scythe. Yay, Scythe Lock. I think I resolved it once today. Oh, I didn't even say the matchups for this. Didn't even say the matchups. So the matchups for this was, let me just double check this one. So my matchups were Mystic Mine, Gren Manjuburn. Like, so it's not just Mystic Mine, it was Mystic Mine with so many draw cards that they just get to Gren Manju and go, I'm going to punch you in the face. Luckily with this, I had the Imperms and Fogblade, so I was in an okay situation. It was Sword Soul, which was a player that I had faced previously that day as well. Then it was Striker. I drew the Striker matchup. Like, literally, game 1 took about 30 minutes, game 2 took about 9 minutes, and it was like a minute to side, and we was like, we're not going to get to game 3. And then the last round was against Prankids, and my days were Prankids annoying. I felt sorry for everyone that I faced in the morning, because when I faced the person that was playing Prankids, I was like, gain 1,000, yeah, burn 500, yeah, draw. And game 1, he got the nuts. Like, his end board was DPE plus Scythe plus Dagda plus Toad. I was like, guess I don't win this one. Obviously, hand traps in this one, you really want to minimise these, so you don't really want to rely on these too heavily. Ash is kind of okay, because in theory it does stand as a pseudo starter, because you can normal summon it, and then as long as you got one of your extenders, you still got your rank 3 plays. And then DP package, again, it's the exact same thing. I'm sorry guys, the card is annoying. Like, I always stood by the whole idea of, okay, Goon is better than DPE, but the more and more I think about it, I think DPE is just better. It just keeps floating, it just doesn't bloody stop. In this particular version, we went with 2 Fusion Destinies. You don't really need 3. You search it, and then the third is pretty much a brick. Double Talents, double Droplets, double E-Telly. Arguably, this could probably be 1 because you're only playing 2 targets. But then I have kind of considered, do I put a Ghost Ogre in here? And the reason I say Ghost Ogre is, I was thinking, when I was putting these decks together, and I was doing test stands and everything, I was like, you know what? a card that would really mess any of these decks up, or either of these decks up, is something like Ghost Ogre. Is something like Gamma. Like, if a Gamma or Ghost Ogre gets dropped right now, no one is prepared for it. Everyone is so prepared. Again, like I've said before, everyone is so prepared to go, okay, cool, Ash, right, Extender, I can still play. Everyone is so prepared to go, okay, do something, but my monster stays on the board, that when you lose it with something like Ogre, or when you lose it with something like Gamma, you're just like, oh, crap. I now need 2 extenders, or I now need 2 ways to get monsters on board, and I honestly think that something like that would work incredibly well. The 1 rotor, and then for the traps we've got double fog blade, 1 shade, 1 wings, 1 imperm? Where's the other imperm card? Oh, I showed the imperms in the other one. So yeah, sorry, that's a 3rd imperm. We only played 2s of everything. So yeah, again, over 40 cards on this one. It's kind of fine because you just play loads of starters, loads of extenders. Everything gets you going and where you need to go. And yeah, I probably had a bit more fun with Prank Kids, if I'm completely honest. Phantom Knights did incredibly well, but for some reason, when they bricked on me, they did brick, and it was really annoying because like you have to. Even when it bricks, because you're playing a lot of level 3s, you can still play around with it. So it's not the end of the world, but it does make you think a little bit more, which is annoying. Onto the extra deck, of course, we've got, for the XYZs, 2 Breaksword, 1 Levianeer, 1 Redoer, and the 1 Zeus. Like, I very rarely made Redoer with the trap, to be honest. I made Redoer just naturally, so pop Breaksword, bring 2 back, off you go. For the Link monsters, we've got the 1 Spider. So this is to turn the Shade Brigadine into an effect monster, and it's also to turn, like, if you get Nibiru, you can turn it into an effect monster, and then 1 extender or 1 monster on the board gives you instant Verte play. Speaking of which, Verte, probably going to get yeeted in January. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't get yeeted in January, but it'll be interesting to see. Dagda, probably didn't resolve it at all, maybe once. Phoenix, just for the safety, if you need to. Like, we don't really worry about Imperial Order, but being able to make Phoenix, especially in the Mystic Mind matchup, like, he put summon limit down and everything. I was like, damn, I need to get to something like Phoenix. Cherubini, broken as hell, constantly sending us costs, noise. Rusty Buddish, Unicorn, and then Access Code. So you've got your boss rank 4, you've got a bounce, which again, this actually put in work against the Mystic Mind player because I just needed stuff that would let me bounce and remove stuff. 1 Appaloosa is your defensive link 4, and then DP. It is what it is. And guys, I'm just sorry, but DP is just so good. So good. Like, I watched the video, and apologies, I can't remember exactly what it was, but the double Scythe lock was disgusting. So the way it works is you pop DPE during your turn to get rid of your Verte, and then during your opponent's turn, what you do is you activate Wings, and then you banish Wings from the graveyard to revive Breaksword. During your opponent's standby phase, keep that in mind. Your Breaksword then triggers Rusty to pop the Scythe which is set along the back row. Scythe then triggers, summons itself back. You then trigger Scythe's effect, and your opponent goes, okay, Droplet, Imperm, Chalice, anything like that. You then resolve. Sorry, that's all during the draw phase. Then during the standby phase, you then resolve DPE, bringing it back, and the DPE's effect goes off to pop the Dagda and the Scythe. Dagda goes to the graveyard with the Scythe. Dagda triggers its effect because it was destroyed to bring back the Scythe. The Scythe is not a once per turn, so it then attempts to trigger again to lock your opponent out of the extra deck. Now, obviously, if they've got 2 ways out and you just go, yeah, cool, whatever, let's go. But it is what it is. Moving on to the side deck 4 specifically, and again, this was relatively the same. There was no real major changes. The only changes that I made was I took out D-Barrier and put in 2 strikes, and I took out, there can only be 1s, and I put in Imperial Order, and I need to find the 3rd strike. So, just double check that that's right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, is that right? What? Yeah, 15. What did I change? I think I only went with 2 Scythes on the second one. So one of the 3s I cut down to 2 to put an Imperial Order in. Like, again, this card's getting yeeted in January. It's such a dirty card. Like, I was listening over to a match and someone said activate Imperial Order, and I, like, instantly my brain just goes, oh, cool, GG, that's fun, that's a game over then, isn't it? But I mean, it is what it is. Like, Imperial Order is not. I was gonna say it's not a fun card. Of course, it's not a fun card, but it's just not a fair card. Like, I've lost a couple of times to Imperial Order myself because I've activated it and then you can't follow up, which is really, really annoying. But Anyway, that was it. I had a lot of fun to the last locals of the year, so massive shout out to Calamity Comics Hatfield, and a shout out to the Pit Boreham Wood, who have been hosting tournaments all year round, weekly, since the lockdown kind of eased back in March, so not all year round, but close enough. Yeah, and I had a lot of fun. So I wish every single one of you watching this right now a very happy new year. And like I said, we are going to be bringing you so much more content in the new year. We're probably, believe it or not, we're actually going to do possibly less videos, but more higher quality videos. So less videos, but higher qualities for those ones that we do. So please keep your eyes out on those. Please subscribe to the channel. We are nearly at 20,000. We're like 250 subscribers away from 20,000 subscribers, which would be amazing. I would love to get to it before our 6th year anniversary, which is the middle of January. But if not, it's not the end of the world. We'll go with it as we are. We love and appreciate every single one of you. And like I said, have a very happy new year. Let's hope that 2022 is going to return regionals, Euros, YCS, the whole 9 yards, so that we can all go and socialise together and enjoy the game we love the most. As always, guys, stay safe and happy dueling.